That's what it means when you're a failed comic. You earn your from still doing comedy, and I'm fine with that. I got no problem with that. I don't give a shit about. I like doing it, but that's what a loser is, just so you know. But I pay my rent with that. So all the other stuff, I don't care. So I'll just say whatever the hell I want because I don't have any monetary problem from that, you know? And I've already been through what you could be through because you didn't say the right thing. I've already been through it. I don't give a shit. It's really not anything. If everybody, we could drop, you don't got to kill nobody. You don't got to hurt nobody. All you got to do is don't lie and don't be a cow. Can anybody do that? That's all you got to do. The next time they go, wear your mask and all that shit. Don't be a fucking stupid cow. The whole thing can collapse tomorrow. You look at them. Look how panicked they are. Okay? Because they know it won't work. My buddy Michael Malice, I think his thing, I didn't read the book, but his book, The White Pill, is about how the Soviet Union collapsed under its own weight. Well, guess what? That's what they're doing. Because, they make it out like the problem of communism is the giving away free stuff. No, the problem is the centralized power. They don't have no problem with that here. They like that idea.
Yeah, they love that.
They just don't like you getting health care. The one good thing about being a commie, ask anybody from a commie country, their complaints are not that part. But here, luckily because America is so despicable and they would let you die in the street, they won't be able to make us bitches like they made Australia. Australians gave up their guns a long time ago because of one shooting, because they're not Paul Hogan, they're punks. And then they're okay, camps for COVID, that's cool. They just go along to get along. And it's in the book Tragedy and Hope. Nobody gets conquered until they get fully disarmed. That's like a historical thing these assholes know.
Yep.
And I never wanted to own a gun before, by the way. I like shooting guns, but I never was like, here I need one because they got like fentanyl meth heads. It ain't like other places. This is a real Soros town. Where,
oh, geez.
Yeah, and the cops were like, well, you can buy a gun. Like, okay, great. So I did, fine. But like this was all planned. It's right in front of your face. I don't believe the things I talk about, like, I don't know, people say conspiracies. I'm talking about normal news that is regular current events. I'm not talking about anything I barely get to my crazy conspiracies, and they're crazy. I never get to tell them because when I tell just regular news, people go, that's a conspiracy.
Get out of here, you nut job. Yeah, exactly.
I told Rogan about Haiti one time. And he was like, oh, you're a conspiracy. I'm like, no, that isn't normal news. That's current events.
Hey, I just want to jump in here. I noticed we got one hand up for quite some time, so I kind of feel bad. But we got Rich. I believe it's Rich Universe. I've seen in some spaces before. Welcome to the space, Rich. Do you happen to have a question?
I do, and thank you for allowing me up to speak right now. Going on top of a lot of the research that's been conducted within this community, the research I've speculate is Lou and crew are using perfect constellation to keep the AI keys closed, attract $14 trillion into America for the next fourth industrial revolution, skipping quickly to the fifth where biogenesis comes involved. And they're releasing the taxonomy onto the taxonomy of reality onto humanity without disclosing it. So we're trying to bring that in and releasing it. So I'm all down for it. What I'm seeing is they're using Kirk Jaimungal and Eric Weinstein. I'm not certain when, but I can almost guarantee you they're going to use Eric Weinstein to be the leader of the new taxonomy with his geometric unity that does not include consciousness at all, or AI as fundamental forces, or even emergent properties of the universe. But we've come up with what's called the Charlton Ross.
Rich, this is sounding more like a declaration than a question.
My question
it's almost too smart for me, honestly, dude. I kind of get it.
My question, sorry guys, sorry. My question is to you, and Ashton's up here speaking. Do you guys feel they're using the UAP Disclosure Act to slowly release the taxonomy of reality before we're able to understand it? Okay.
It's what's called limited hangout. If you ever heard that term, limited hangout, it means that's what QAnon was. QAnon is partially a LARP from some guy who made one of those live action, those games people get sucked into in real life. So they made them in San Francisco, and they combine that with some real shit that's despicable. And then they sell it to you. Is Israelis doing that? I'm pretty sure at this point. I mean, it's crazy the amount of things. And so That's the problem. And you'll hear what I do is I listen for themes and not their details as much, although I do listen to details. You'll see repeating themes. So if you watch Whitley Strieber, I watch him all the time. I don't know if people like gave up on him or something, but he says a lot of telling things, man. It's really fascinating, actually. But yes, they're gonna have to. People are catching on for some reason. I don't know what that is, but they're gonna have to disclose stuff. And so limited hangout is you admit a few things, but you mostly muddy the water, right? So that's what they're doing.
Well, I
I
can
don't
tell
know.
you, we've learned, like our research collective team has used some of the mathematics and metaphysics and what we term as the rich universe theory, TRU, truth, as speaking word of God, like Matthew Brown using his decoded sigil and all
Wait,
that.
who's Matthew Brown? I don't know who that is.
One of the big whistleblowers coming out.
From where though?
Matthew Brown's one of the con jobs of disclosure.
Okay, so a lot of these people who, by the way, who could be 100% liars, they are plugged into something. The dark journalist, and I found out from Nathan Reynolds, who is, if you listen to his story, it's pretty far out, man. But I gotta tell you, that guy gave me a lot of good threads to pull. And
But
dark
listen,
journalist,
you can use the new math and create new products, and we're actually doing it now. And
well,
the things
do
that
it.
we can do
Look,
with
I don't
it,
know
it's
math. I gotta tell you,
fucking wild.
look,
We're just
I
testing
have
little
to
things right now, but it's
yeah.
absolutely insane.
Okay, so you could do that. Well, here's the thing. I'm good with like writing and stuff, but what's the dyslexia with I'm that. I'm not good with numbers at all. So when I have a friend, a guy I know from way back, Flat Earth Dave. You ever made a scene? And I gave him that name. It's not creative, but he does have merch that says Flat Earth Dave, so I did creative. But he'll have all his proofs why the Earth's flat, and I go, okay, it's flat, dude. I don't. I literally could not mathematically tell you why it's not flat. What I'm not clear about, real simply, is why the fuck you're telling me this like it matters to me what shape the goddamn Earth is. What's the juice ain't worth the squeeze on this one, is what I say to him. So I literally, I'll just cater to your argument immediately because I don't know nothing about math. I just wonder what if you mention God, like what's the fruits of your labors? What are they? So if you make something cool, good, then you're good. Everybody gets caught up in the
Well,
academic
if you
part.
want
You
me
say
to
you're liable.
describe it, I can. I can
I
describe
won't.
it
I
in
won't
30
understand.
seconds.
I'm going to tell you right now. I don't.
No, you could. In an elevator pitch, I could. I really
You
could.
got to Eric Weinstein it
you
for me.
Rich, I think you're
No,
bringing us in a direction that's your preference, but not necessarily part of the topic.
Well,
No,
that
you know
sounds
what? I
interesting.
think
I'm
it
going to
is
look it
part of the
up.
topic because I
I'm
researched what
I'm going to
you
disagree with
gave
you,
us,
Rich.
but I took what you did with the toroidal things and I applied it to our math, and wow, did it ever show results?
I hear you, but if we're going to have the conversation about toroidal math and its implications, might be the more appropriate show.
What is that? Is that
Yes, that's right,
want
Eric. I agree with that. Sorry, I didn't mean the thumbs down. I do agree.
Fair enough. Yeah. It's just, I enjoy your topic, sir. But it's just like you're trying to shoehorn it into this conversation.
Well,
No,
it's a waste of
I
time
don't
because
want
I
to
don't
do
know
that,
math
sorry.
at all. You could tell me.
Yeah.
Terrence Howard could be right with it. Terrence Teriology is like, well, 2 plus 2 is equals 1. And I'm like, okay, because we're all one. And like, if that's true, then how come you're mad that Robert Downey got more money than you? You both got that money, right? You won.
Hey, we do have Mr. Tupacabra here also, who's fantastic in the disclosure community, and he has his hand up. So let's, what do you got going on today, Mr. Tupa?
What's going on, man? Hey, Eric, great space. Kurt, good to talk to you, man. I'm loving the stuff you're putting out. It's great to know that someone's out there using their voice to criticize these people
Look,
for the
I'm not
pieces of
that
shit
smart.
that
I
they
want
are.
to make everybody. I want everybody to understand something. I'm not that smart. This stuff. Jimmy says this on Jimmy Dore show. You're not a reporter. I'm a dumb birthday clown. This is so stupid now that I can look at it. I can't stress that enough.
But that's who needs to look at it, because everyone who's like the Eric Weinsteins, they were all kind of courted into believing that this was high brain shit. So they were like kind of they can't use their discernment when they look at it. People like the dark journalist, which I love that you brought him up, right? Dark journalist, I think, is the man. My question for you was in regards to like what dark journalist is uncovering matches my own research about like this weird religious kind of Rosicrucian movement that's right underneath the surface of ufology right now, especially these UAP guys.
Dude, it's always been there, and so a while ago when I was first I look in, so Linda Moulton Howe so I would just watch all this stuff just to watch it, because I wanted to know what the official lore is of the aliens we found. I know the Greys, but like, what the tall whites? What the hell? I'm like, what's like the George Lucas lore of who they hang out with? And I want to, and for a joke, I want to know what their racisms are. Okay, because the tall whites, I mean, the story is amazing. The guy's going, yeah, we're strong as gorillas compared to them, and they don't. If you touch one of them, they'll kill you. Like we're not even fit to touch. So you're telling me at the end of the day, it's just taller, whiter things are in charge? I think I've heard this before. So
Yeah.
so as a joke, I'm looking into it. You understand? Because it's so funny. It sounds like we're like Guam or something for them, like like a hop on the way to some other
Absolutely.
shit. So that's how the angle I came at it. And again, I want to make it for a joke, not because I'm like whatever. Belief comes way later. I just want to hear a thing that doesn't make me bored, and I'll remember that forever. And then even if you're lying to me, dude, I'm gonna get that off either way. So it's fine. I look into this, and all of a sudden, there's this bizarre. There's a guy named Daryl James with one R. So you know that SSP kind of crap from the other guy with the blue avians or whatever nonsense. And he got Well, watch this guy Daryl James's story, okay? And here's the reason why, because I'm not telling you it's a true story, but I would normally just as soon as I hear certain like theosophy beats to a story, and I didn't even know it was called that when I would be bored by it. But if you bore me, I know you're just telling me some pablum, the same way they're going to do with Iran. Like, well, they got weapons of mass destruction, and I'm going to go blank and not listen. But his story was so insane that I couldn't help but remember it. I mean, it like haunted. It was eerie, and he tells it with this deadpan Sirhan look in his fucking eyes. Okay, and it starred him, Michael Aquino, a name I hadn't heard in a long, long time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
From the
He's
Satanic.
he's a whole he's a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah,
for
the
sure.
guy that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no,
Temple
I
of
went
Set.
down it. Okay,
Yeah.
I went down it. Now I know. Now I know that telepathy is real because I fell asleep listening to that asshole explain physics to somebody who was interviewing him, like some I don't know Temple of Set dipshit kind of person. And I didn't mean to, but he uses the voice from Dune. If you ever read Dune or saw a movie or heard interviews
Oh
with
my
Frank
God.
Herbert, he goes, "Yeah, they make it like it's God's, like a crazy alien voice." No, it ain't. He meant TV preachers, comedians, politicians, the people that talk to a crowd. It's crowd control, and it's literally just using your voice to do that. And that's what Michael Aquino is when you watch him. It's so reasonable. And by the way, I understood physics better from him explaining it about how it's just about positionality and stuff that I couldn't comprehend. Okay, but it's hypnotic. His gross voice. I fell asleep. I fell asleep listening to this asshole talk. Okay, so
And this was Aquino.
yeah,
Aquino, yeah.
yeah. This
Michael
this
Aquino,
boy, this
and
boy committed
he's like
suicide.
and he was like really high up in the Temple of Satan, right? And the U.S. military.
Okay, he's the second. Okay, let me. Yeah,
Temple of Set was his.
he invented it.
Basically, yeah. Basically, he was a member of the Church of Satan. He has a fallout with the leadership, and he creates his own thing called the Temple of Set. He literally went to the
Right.
same castle that Himmler used for his
Wavelsburg.
secret
Yeah,
societies,
the Octagon.
Wivelsburg, to create his manifesto and perform some kind of ritual to induct the Temple of Set into being. But I think
No, he had
Aquino,
he got possessed early. Oh, this is according to him. So
well,
yeah.
and I guess the thing that I'm trying to say here is that Aquino was also kind of implicated in the Satanic Panic, the loosely connected to the Franklin Bank scandal, if you're familiar with that. But
Oh, he's connected to a lot, dude. But
he's connected to a lot of shit. But
okay,
Aquino
wait. There's an important part here. Dude, there's a really important part to this because so I'd heard that name, so that sent me down Aquino. And
Going down a
darkest
Aquino
So then I
hole
look
is
all this
always
up.
bad.
Okay, so the Satanic Panic, number one. I was like, wait, how long did this take? Because I remember that. I guess. Do I? How long did that last?
It was
I'll tell you how long. It lasted
Go
from
ahead.
like 77 to when George W. Bush was inaugurated. Over 20 years? That's a long panic. I've had panic attacks that last 20 fucking years. That's not a thing.
Just a flash in the pan, Kurt.
Just how wow, that's longer than the Afghanic panic when we fought in Afghanistan for 20 years. Oh, this is bullshit. So what they do is mash a bunch of stories like the McMartin preschool. Now, some people, when you say Satanic Panic, they think the West Memphis 3 or whatever the fuck. Some people think a different thing. Older people go, oh yeah, Geraldo, Michael Aquino. That's what I remember him from. The guy with the crazy devil eyebrows and the bull haircut. oh, what a shame that this guy who's an innocent Satanist turned set worshiper is being smeared in this manner. It was unbelievable. But at the time, if you watch, this is back when Oprah had that chick who was from Frankist satanic Jewish family. Imagine having that on regular TV in your Oprah, a chick that's Jewish.
That was crazy.
It was a
That's-
simpler time. It was a simpler
Dude.
time.
Well, yeah, it
But I
was-
mean, that was like all daytime television was
Yeah.
about that. Like
Yeah.
they were going over real cases and real
yeah,
instances.
it's called programming. I wrote for TV a long time, dude. I'm what's called a programmer. So fucking. So anyway, I went because this guy's story that might be bullshit. I looked into that, and Mike Lucchino, he's I think now psyops are a thing that's been around a long time, but the term I think is from him. He's the second guy with LeVay. I encourage everybody to look up Seinfeld's Riding to Get Coffee with People show, where Eddie Murphy talks about going out to eat with Sammy Davis Jr. And Sammy Davis Jr. is like, Satan's more powerful than God, man. That's why do you think? And this is just a funny story. This isn't like a scary story. And Seinfeld's cracking up, and Eddie's like, "What the hell?" And he says, as soon as Sammy saw he was creeped the fuck out, he stopped talking about it. It's a great little tidbit because
Dude, it's crazy.
when I looked up Aquino, the first thing that pops up is him and LeVay and Sammy Davis, who, by the way, I thought converted to Judaism, but I don't think he did. I don't know why they were saying that. He was a Satanist, and something happened where he got creeped the hell out and stopped doing it. But that's all I could find as far as the real deal with that. So Aquino is the second command. LeVay, the big fake story about fucking LeVay is they always say it's about Satanists. By the way, that's the lowest. Look up Mark Passio if anybody wants to know. He was a priest and he had a grotto in Philly, and LeVay appointed him. And he has it's like a 6-hour lecture that's fantastic about occult stuff. And better than that,
It's on natural law. He does it's like an 8.5
he ain't
hour
a born-again
presentation.
Christian, by the way. Now, this is why it's
Yeah.
very interesting. He's telling you all the secret. They have secret commandments in that church. So LeVay, they're just atheists trolling. How much you hear that? They're just trolling. Okay. I remember feeling like I was an atheist, and I don't remember. I remember I just like lived my life, and I didn't like dress up like a queef and worship a goat head. So I don't believe you that you don't believe in it. Why are you doing that? Why are you wasting your time then if you don't believe in it? Well, what they believe in is manipulation and horse shit. And that's the first level of magic. Okay. When you first hear Harry Potter fucking class, you learn that the first magic is lying. So, for example, when David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear, I don't know if anyone remembers that amazing trick on TV, but they go no television tricks in front of a live audience. And then he put a curtain up and they stand on the dock. And I figured it was mirrors or something. But when I played Choku Charlie's up in Anchorage, I ended up getting high with this dude that was his ex-assistant who hated his guts. It was a long time ago, dude. He goes, "You want to know how he made the Statue of Liberty disappear?" I go, "Yeah." It was a TV trick. So the whole trick was they said no TV tricks, and then they did one. There's your magic. So once you master that, right, then you move up the ladder. Because what this is all based on, dude, this is all, I should footnote everybody, but I just am piecing it together for a bunch of people. So just understand that. I just remember stuff that resonates with me in a funny or emotional way. So, but Dark Journalist kind of put me onto this. A bunch of people did. My friend Emma, you did her show, right, Eric? You did Emma's show.
Yeah, I did Emma's show. She is fantastic, and I am also a fan of the work of Dark Journalist. I think folks should check out both of those people, Emma, Catherine, and Dark Journalist.
The main key is to get over anything where you don't like someone. Now, look, if they're boring you, that's where I stop watching. So if you bored me, then I'm going to turn it off. 9 times out of 10, it's because somebody's lying, and I've heard this lie before, and I'm just remembering, But if you tell me something I haven't heard before, it's like I'm a writer. It's like if I see a movie that's like, oh, I hadn't thought of that, I'm gonna just remember it because I'm like, cool.
Yep.
So that's what I want.
A lot of liars think that they're very original and coming up with a lie, and they have no idea how many other people came up with that lie before them.
That's right. Okay, Eric. Yeah. So Charles Hall, which I sent you, his one stuck out to me because his alien stuff, he said, I never heard anybody say anything like that before. And the same with this guy, Daryl James, who talks about how Aquino was at this base and the 20 and back program. There's something to that. There's not nothing to that. There's something to that, I promise you. And now, as I started watching this stuff, I noticed a bizarre crossover between alien abduction and SRA rituals. Okay, and here's the crossover.
Bingo.
It's traumatic. Okay, so and Whitley Strieber was mad about South Park with the probing jokes He goes, I said probing because really I was raped. That's what he says now. Okay. And I go, and when he said it, I go, wow, that's interesting. I never even look at the framing change now. Because that is what it is. You wouldn't call it a probing if Puerto Ricans did it, do you? So fucking they pick you up and probe you, right? This is the scenario. Then they harvest your semen. I don't know if it fuels their ship or why they need your semen so much, but then they give you a lecture on not polluting. So they're Greta Thunberg if she flew around a flying saucer raping people is what they are. And they go, nuclear weapons are bad, right? Oh, wow, you're advanced. Thank you for telling me. You don't have a president, you could stick your thumb in his ass and tell him that. You know that? You advanced being? They tell you that dumb shit. Something about climate change. Then they erase your memory, so you got to pay out of pocket for hypnosis to remember not to pollute, right? SRA is just way worse details. Memory wipe, the Men in Black memory wipe. And and I'm like, so how it started to come off to me was like a focus group. Like imagine if like God was George Lucas and he was sick of your complaints, so he sold the reality to Disney. And Disney doesn't really know what the fuck to do with it, so they're testing out endings. Which ending do you like better? Do you like it to be angels or spacemen? That's how it comes off to me. So that's stuck in my head a while, dude. And this is before I learned all this stupid occult. And when I say gay, I don't mean gay as in lame. Okay, I'm not using it as a slur for lame, but it is also that. It's also lame. I want to make that clear. And so the genius. So if you read Crowley's bullshit where he turned invisible by wearing a purple turban, he went to I don't know whatever Arab town where they let you do stuff with boys, I'm sure, and he's wearing a purple turban and a purple cape, and he goes, no one would look at me. And I was laughing. I'm like, oh, I think I know the secret of your invisibility that the homeless use every day around me, right? But so I'm laughing at that because it's funny to me, but I'm not seeing the genius of it. The whole key to it is to make you not want to look. You don't want to look. Nothing is top secret. It's all come out. Everything has come out. I want everybody to understand that. And any idiot can find it. I did. You're just not gonna. You're just not gonna look. But you don't gotta wait for no disclosure. You just gotta like, I don't know, take a shit and look at something that's not boring. I don't know why people don't know this stuff. I'm not smarter than people like that, dude. It's not a good illusion. And
there's a lot of folks that aren't doing due diligence.
Well, there's a couple things. You brought up a bunch of really good points. There's a movie that kind of talks about exactly what you're talking about. It's called Mysterious Skin. Came out in 2004.
Is that with Scarlett Johansson or no?
No. It's with what's that guy's name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's a good movie. I would highly recommend people checking it out. And it's effectively what you're talking about. There's another book. I went down pretty deep rabbit holes on hypnosis. I read a bunch of hypnosis books from the 50s.
Oh, did you?
The best one that I came
there's
across.
Like the book. I want to get it because I want to learn. It's actually very interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, what a lot of those guys, especially the occult guys, are into is what is now called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Dude, that's Tony Robbins. So my ex-girl,
he's like a bastardized version of what the original intent was. But
the
best book about that is called The Structure of Magic. It's by Richard Bandler. It's an amazing book, and it kind of gives you an insight.
Yo, you know this guy Mark Windows? There's a guy named Mark Windows on YouTube. He's got a channel Windows on the World. Don't even know how I found it. But that guy has some killer info. And the first thing I found was about ancient Egypt. Egyptian crowd control, and which the structure of magic you want to talk about, that's with Freemasonry. That's what they're the architects of. I have like files of theirs that are like secret. Somebody sent me that it's not about lizard people. It's about architecture to control how people feel. You know, like a cathedral with an organ, and then you're inside. I learned that Joseph P. Farrell talks about it on Dark Journalism.
Do you know where the term mesmer comes from?
That's why Mozart. Another Dark Journalist thing that's
you guys are cutting in and out right now. What I'm going to do is just ask you to you guys mute yourselves real quick. I'm going to see if that helps out. I see we got 3 hands up for questions. I believe Black Magnet was the first hand up. I think the next one was Ashton, followed by Mr. Red Panda Koala. So everybody, welcome. And Mr. Black Magnet, if you can jump on up and let us know what your question is, please.
Oh, hell yeah. Kurt, I'm so stoked you're here, bud. I'm going to keep this real quick. I don't want to take up anybody's time. But since we're on the subject of the whistleblowers, you brought up Michael Aquino and the
Yeah.
attachment. Oh, can anyone hear me? I'm hearing a bit of a break.
Oh, now you sound clear. Dude.
Yeah,
It was bad before. Now it sounds.
I'm gonna mute the whole space real quick and see if that helps.
I think you muted
Okay.
everyone.
And Mr. Flack Magnet, why don't you try again?
Hey, real quick, Eric, I just want you to know that you're coming through very choppy. Your connection might be poor. That might be why you're hearing other people choppy. Everyone else sounds great to me. Just a little.
Oh, thank you so much. Any recommendations, Mr. Tupa?
Are you on a desktop or
Move out of
phone?
Alaska.
You son of a bitch. I am currently doing this off of a laptop, sir.
You might. I mean, typically, I don't want to ruin the spin, but when that happens to me, I just reset. I like literally refresh the page, and I click my own profile. Then it gives you the option to reconnect to the space, so the space won't drop. But again, this is a big space, so you might want to just give it a little time. Maybe it'll go over. But I do that all the time.
Okay.
Oh, you're coming through perfect now.
Okay, wait. What's the question?
Oh, all right. So, with this new picture,
Fire up, Mr. Flack Magnet.
the new picture that Lou has sent around in the back channels that has come around to the front channels.
The October 7th
wondering if
Hamas
you think-
attack fake picture.
Oh yeah, that one.
It's a rack of lamb or something.
Do you think that has any ties to like any of this wacky satanic cult shit? Because I'm wondering if like there's a slight possibility that this could be
Your whole country
some
is
kind
that,
of
buddy.
Sacrifice.
What do you think America is? It's not.
Touche, dude.
It's not. It's Luciferian, and I didn't understand what that was because you hear Alex Jones yelling it. By the way, stuff he was yelling 5 years ago. A lot of it is borne out to be true. But Luciferian means you hold the seething energies of Lucifer in one hand and also the good in the other, like Abraxas, their god, not yours. So God and the devil are just snake legs of a rooster head thing that they think is God. It's mostly symbolic, but it's also horseshit and gay. So that's it. All the symbolism and the Kabbalatry, that is mind repatterning. Okay, that is to put. It's literally mind control. Mark Windows on the World. He talks about the Wallace Budge book. Wallace Budge is like the real Indiana Jones, supposedly, and he wrote a whole book about there. And what you I think Mark Windows made this point, and not Wallace Budge, but you realize the Pharaoh has his whole day wasted with his afterlife doing stupid gate homework. Like, and it's nonsense. It's like, then you must point to the oar of the ferryman and say how big the oar is, and shoot your gun in the air 3 times like Three Amigos in the burning book. It's like that. It's like the fucking Three Amigos. And it's a waste of your time because these are inbreds. This corrupt priest class is inbreeding royals. What are they inbreeding them for? Dissociation. That's how you get all your astral projection, and that's how you get someone possessed. Is to get, when I worked on TV shows with people that I thought I was at least middle class, but it turns out I'm like trash, dude. All these people, if someone was cringy, they go, "Oh, I left my body." There's like a saying I've heard for years, and I bet they fucking did, dude. You know why? Because they come from a good family, and the ability to leave your body and let somebody else come in—that's like good breeding. That's what they've been breeding for, and that's what the Nazis that came to America, this Luciferian founded country by human traffickers. They came here and big farmed Satan stuff. That's all they did. And Satan is a catch-all term. It's like a hot topic, lowest level nonsense thing. If you're the real deal, you're a Luciferian, and all that means is you're above good and evil.
Did you hear the weird tie-in to where the photo came from? Like
no, I did not.
It's from a Wendell Stevens collection, bro, where he was caught up in CSAM material. Like that's where he got arrested.
How about that? It looks like they're on a couch, right? It doesn't even really look like a hospital setting.
Yeah, dude.
Like there's weird things going on.
Okay, so now I'm watching. I was watching dude. Watch Whitley Strieber. Like I said, you don't have to think these people are right at all. Just hear them out, because it's like, hey, tell me you're working with demons without telling me. That's his show now. His dead wife speaks to him. this is a recurring theme that they have something to do with our afterlife. Okay, so I don't. There's 20 different reasons why, but it's a theme that pops up over and over. Okay, well, my guess is all the words for everything are not right. They're on purpose split up into bullshit duality. You know, these assholes love the dialectic. They love it. It's like gain of function. What it is gain of function is what it is. You get ruled by gain of function research. So that's what Hitler is. He's a virus that they screwed with, and it got out of their control. And then they had, oh no, we got to take more control now, so this can't happen again. Gain of function is how they do everything, and what that is dialectic, the two opposites, and then whatever adapts, you know, whatever evolves and is stronger is the thing. So there's not like a deep state like it's one group. It's like idiots that go the Jews. Anybody says that, you're a dumb shit to say that. You really are. So you go the Jews. No, it's not that, dude. And by the way, it's like mostly Catholics talking that shit that I get. You got some nerve as a Catholic. I put on a Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York hat, and I yell at them. The Mormons, anybody a Mormon out there? The Mormies are balls deep in this. Scientology, balls deep in it. In fact, as probably a bunch of you know,
Okay, so next I think we had Mr. Ashton Forbes is here in the mix.
Oh,
with
Ashton,
his
what's up,
hand
man?
Want to fire off your question, please,
What
Mr.
up,
Forbes?
guys? Yeah, what up, Eric? What up, Kurt? First time interacting, pretty awesome. And definitely we should talk more later.
Yeah,
another
you were.
time
I
about-
wasn't on Jimmy because I'm in Austin. He's not here, and
I was looking. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you there. But so here's my thing for you is that first of all, you give yourself way too little credit. You're absolutely right about how people just don't look, and they just don't look. People have to just take initiative when that's all you're doing. It's like you say you don't know why you don't know stuff. That's exactly, or why people don't know all this shit. That's what I've been wondering for the last year and a half when I've been digging into like the science aspect of it, because it's exactly the same way on the science aspect. They use this dual language, encoded language to like hide the fact they figured out gravity like 50 years ago and stuff like that. And so really you just have to teach yourself.
Hey, here's a question for everyone.
Yep.
How come I learned about the 3 states of matter of water and ice and steam, but they didn't mention plasma, the 4th state of matter? Seems kind of fucking really foundational, does it, to learn about plasma? You remember hearing about plasma? I didn't.
Or where electricity comes from, or like, did you get taught about Tesla, or did you get taught that like a dude lightning bolt struck like a fucking balloon and then?
So actually, I was taught about plasma in school, but I have noticed that it was removed from the curriculum, and I find that to be super
Want to hear
weird.
something really creepy? So Mark Andreessen, who's a scumbag, was talking to Barry Weiss. I saw this clip and I couldn't believe it. And he said, he's like, do you want to get into AI? I have friends that do AI stuff in Puerto Rico. All those crypto bullshit coins, all the guys that make them, they moved to Puerto Rico for tax reasons. And they call you, people that trade those, they call you degenerate gamblers. Like the mafia. Because that's what because every once in a while, these things are valuable. And so then the scam becomes you think you're in on the rug pull, but you actually weren't. That becomes a scam. But anyway, they want me to train this AI to be funny because I don't think these people are funny that make it. They're like half an iPhone, every one of these motherfuckers. So what it is it's just bots that are kind of glorified that do a few extra choices you don't have to do, and they stack them. They call them slave AI. And they wanted me to teach it how to be funny. And I was curious to see if I could, because I think the whole key to it is like combining things that don't seem to go together. And wait. There's a reason I brought this up, dude. I'm sorry. Tell me a question again. I totally got off track.
You're probably about suppression of because Mark Andreessen was talking about how they hit
Mark
physics,
Andreessen.
right?
Okay, so the reason that they're doing this. Okay, thank you. I'm the real. See, I'm dumb.
Don't worry, I got you.
Mark Andreessen. I saw him talking about how so basically how they figured out to make an AI do something interesting was on Discord. They get them to argue. They do a dialectic. He didn't say this, my friend, but that's what it is, the dialectic. And these two AIs, so basically here's how it works. You go, write a hit song and promote it on all the things so I don't have to do it, and but make it really funny, right? That's the goal. So these two things argue, and they made a Goatsy. Remember Goatsy, that guy with the jar in his ass meme? They made a Goatsy Christmas song. And now I never heard of this, but it became viral with like weird nerds, like people who know who Chris Chan is, I guess. And Mark Andreessen bought their thing for like $70 million. So now that's the gold rush, is to get in on AI. And I'm watching Mark Andreessen later talk to Barry Weiss and say, yeah, I'm getting AI, but then You know, he's giving people, look, don't even bother with AI. We're going to let a few people in on that. There's only going to be like 1 or 2 companies that do that. And he goes, yeah, but you can't, the market in the future or whatever. And they go, we classified an entire area of physics for 80 years. So yeah, we can do that. He said that to Barry Weiss. You could go find it. What
Yeah.
area
So,
was that? Was it plasma physics? I bet. Yeah, I bet it was.
or 0 point energy, and they might be tied together. It turns out.
Dude.
Turns out cold fusion might just be like the plasma is just interacting with this medium, and that's
Not
how
only
it's able
that,
to be like stable. But
all that Akashic record gibberish, that's probably a plasma thing. That's probably some plasma storage. The I
people have
got
been
this,
sending me that. Yeah.
I got this from Nathan. And keep in mind, I don't fully understand this. I try to, but I don't. But Nathan told me, and he said it on a show too, Nathan Reynolds, that they get metamaterials from CERN because everything you hear is it's a portal and they are opening portals. Yeah, maybe. I think you are the portal. Your body is the portal because that's what the theme I hear popping up. We will come through you. That's a Linda Moulton Howe thing. So that sounds cool.
Let me add a couple things to your vocabulary there,
Yeah.
because coherent matter wave beam, Lockheed Martin can produce this. They've got a patent for it. It can do atomic scale manufacturing, so you could do that to make metamaterials. Basically, they can also make super advanced microchips with it.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Wow!
you need to hit me up so we do an interview because I'll help you
Yeah,
out with the science side. But
so that's her
let me
bismuth thing, her chunk of 1 micron thick bismuth and aluminum, whatever the hell it is.
yeah, if it's like one atom, like that's what the coherent matter wave beam can like actually theoretically
So that's
pull
the
off, because
Star
they can
Trek
transport.
material.
Yeah, and then you have a replicator, right?
Okay,
And then
so-
now what happens is this site. But let me ask you, hold up real quick. Avril Hines, you need to get her involved in your deep state group of people, because she was all in on bombing people under Obama, and then she was the DNI under Biden, and she was the one that everybody's telling me was covering up all the UFO stuff, the Lou Elizondo, all that bullshit.
Well,
And
it's
then
Mellon. Mellon's the guy in
yeah,
charge of the.
oh yeah. Trust me,
That's
bro. I
called
had a
that.
debate
Called
against
the
his son.
Extra.
I had a debate against his son. You need to check it out.
I will.
Yes, he's 100% deep state. And then lastly, Frank Mead of the Air Force Research Labs and Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis. Like, Eric Davis is sitting next to Anna Polina Luna and these UFO whistleblower things. Bro, he helped them figure out like anti-gravity, teleportation, all the crazy shit. And nobody really knows, because everybody's talking about like how many species of aliens are there. Okay, that was all.
Yeah, no, it's soap opera bullshit. Everything's gonna be a distraction at all times. Yeah, no, Anna Polina Luna, but okay, I'm gonna get off track. Wait, what was I saying before you said that? About he told me about. Okay, so he said these colliders, and Nathan said on I think it's Tony Merkel's show. He goes, don't get hung up on CERN because there's about 30,000 particle colliders in every mountain we have, and that's how they get metamaterials like Neptunium. He kept bringing up Neptunium. So I don't really understand. That's supposedly the maglev train underground, and that's how Michael Aquino could be in all these places to molest people, even if he was in Europe. Daryl James's story about him ties into this other one. It's Neptunium. You run a charge through it. I don't understand it. So I've been asking around. Nobody say anything about it. Okay, I messaged Jog journalists. He didn't say anything. Then I randomly hear Jesse Michaels talking to either Rogan or someone else about element 115, and they always do this fake thing that like, how did Bob Lazar predict it? Well, like that was the next one. Anybody that found it would predict it. But that doesn't, I'm not discounting it. Russia made Moscovium with and then he goes, they made it with a particle collider, but it wasn't stable. And I was like, wait, a particle collider? Oh, that's what Nathan said. So that's how.
Yeah.
So how much of that crap could you make with CERN? You think with the military budget that CERN has and Vatican status? How much of these like helium-3 and what's Neptunium and of course element 115? Russia said they made it, but it wasn't stable, and I'm sure they would tell us. Well, that's a long time ago, man. So the thing you told me, it's advanced quite a bit.
Yeah, they can just make just hydrogen. Honestly, just producing hydrogen can be profitable, and some of these companies might be using some of these processes to do that. I actually had a source, it was a journalist, a legit journalist, works for one of the big papers, talked to Bob Lazar, and he didn't believe in 0 point energy, and that was big because, I mean, in the 90s, it makes sense. You wouldn't know about it. Like, the field has advanced a lot in 30 years. And so now what that means, though, is you don't need element 115 to explain how a UFO is flying around in the sky. You say, oh, it's just interacting with the medium that we're in that we just don't accept at the moment.
Well,
so
dude,
there's other ways to look at it. Go ahead.
If you wanna Jesus this up for people that are on the other focus group, 0 point energy, what is that at the end of the day? If you just look at the themes.
Just space time, yeah. Go ahead.
It's God. It's God. It's God. So basically, the whole difference between like this is kind of if you look at all this Kabbalah, I have to say Kabbalah now because I've been looking at that's how you pronounce it, like karate. It's pronounced Kabbalah. If you look at all this kind of Kabbalah shit, basically we're vampiric, right? You got to eat something to live, and I put it in economic terms, like the scumbags that are in charge. I mean, really in charge, like trillionaires, like people Eric knows of. They've you know how they do in the market when they make a shitty video game and it sucks because the venture capital has planned out how much they should make it. Like in casino, the whales are like they make all this money, but they thought maybe they could win like double that. So in their mind, they've lost money. That's our system that we have for everything, and I think that they've done it. I think they've planned it out to the heat death of the universe. Who's going to get the last little bits? And if you look at religious people, say they're not eternal, so they gotta feed on us. But God is a limitless power source that they don't have access to. That's the theme that I see over all of this shit. So you can put it in any terms you want, but 0 point energy is like the power of God, is basically. And you ever see a guy? I call him Jazz Jabrani all the time, but his name's not that. It's Jason Giorgiani, and he's got a lot of interesting things. And he put something together for me that I don't know why I couldn't have constellated it myself, but if you have that gravity thing, that's time travel automatically. So, and then Emma's show, some people are just cuckoos on there, but you got to understand, like, there's every flavor under the sun these assholes made. The secret of the occult and magic is mind control and controlling a crowd. Watch the Gary Wayne, that dude, and his bias is he thinks the Bible is 100% true. Okay, so but he tells you that guy has done research that has consolidated a lot of other people's research I've looked at into one thing, and it's really good. And he really explains it really well how it works, because you keep hearing this starseed hybrid shit. It's all the same shit. It's Nephilim shit. I'm not saying Nephilim's the right one. I'm just saying there's one story here, and it goes back a lot further than Whitley Strieber getting space raped. You know, it goes back way further than that. In fact, the Seven Sisters myth of that's also a seven wandering stars myth, where it's angel, and the myth is about these sisters being chased by Orion to probe them. Let's put it in nice terms. When you hear about Greek gods, they sound like rich LA people. Like it sounds like. So when I combine that with like the tall white stuff, then you start to realize what the deal is a little bit, and that's why go to Mark Passio too, because Mark Passio doesn't. I don't think he goes where I go, but he'll tell you their mind control techniques very well. Who was it just telling me about? He got that hypnotic stuff, that the book on hypnosis.
That was me. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get that book because
you should. You would really dig it. And there was a bunch of in my research into hypnosis in the 50s, right? Like concurrently with a lot of the MK Ultra shit, there was a movement in medicine to use hypnotism as an alternative to like painkillers and anesthesia.
It's like all the kung fu magical things you ever saw in a kung fu movie is what you can do with that. So Mozart, who wrote his first Concerto, whatever, at 4, guess who his tutor was? William Mesmer.
Yeah,
so that's a gate kid. Mozart's a gate kid. That's what that means.
Well, and there's also like, speaking of all the occult stuff, you've kind of brought up a couple of interesting things. If people want to read the history of how the stories that we have now have evolved, the best starting place would probably be Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall. It's effectively the dictionary of esotericism and mysticism.
Yes, but you know what, dude? That was very hard for me to understand.
Well, it's not a book; it's a dictionary.
Right.
But it is the driest of shit.
Yeah, right. It's tragedy, dude. I didn't actually read Tragedy and Hope. I read Tragedy and Hope 101, where a guy, and it's also a big book, but the guy went through it because the dude sucks, Cal Quigley, at writing, and he went through a lot of pain for making this book, and he was on their side. He didn't know they didn't want him telling people. It's crazy when you fucking read it. It's like the dry dinosaur skeleton of the thing. Okay, there's nothing UFOs or devil worship, nothing like that. It's an academic that was Bill Clinton's mentor that was a polymath. This is why I want to talk to Eric Weinstein, because he's telling. Look, the thing where you could be a polymath, that went away a while ago. Now you're supposed to be autistic. This is why I don't think this is by chance that there's so many autistics. Let's look at what they're like. They compartmentalize on one thing a lot, like trains or whatever, right? They love all the products. If a shitty Star Wars comes out, they're going to be in tears when they see the preview. You can tell them what gender they are, and they go, "Yeah, that's what I am." You don't think that's intentional? And it's 1 in 32 kids now. You don't think they intended to do that?
You know, I think the thread there is that maybe it was there before, and we were just calling it something else. Like if we call them,
that's an old joke of mine. That's an old joke of mine. We used to call them nerds.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We called them polymaths back in the day, but now we understand that they're just autistic.
No, polymath is getting out of your comfort zone and just looking at other stuff without any fucking ego. I'm telling you, I'm not, dude. I know my exact IQ. It's it's a high, but it's not like genius or something. I think from all the meters. In fact, I think that's probably how I ended up in Gate. But I remember going to get my test when I was 5, and a guy, like a notary, like I remember it very well. I wish I hadn't got it because I used to get in big trouble for not getting good grades. But school sucked ass. And I'd go to church 3 nights a week as a Jehovah's Witness. I'd be so bored, I'd read the Bible to entertain myself. So I probably read the Bible like, I don't know, a lot of times, dude. Not because I wanted to. And it was bored me to tears. But you know what? Looking back now, there's an element of it that was a very wax on, wax off, where I've never been afraid of occult bullshit. Like almost like I'm in a privileged position that just because I don't think that shit's not real. But I would never be afraid of it. And I mean, psychologically, in my deepest subconscious, I'm like, you can't do nothing to me. So there was a value to it, is what I'm saying. At the end of the day. And because I had that so drummed into me, it you know what? Here, I'll give you the best way to put it. When they would do Christmas, you give out cupcakes or whatever in elementary school, and some schools people are like, "Don't do Christmas stuff." I'm not. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate Christmas, but we didn't go lobby the law. We didn't get involved in government at all because we thought it was bad. I just sat there and didn't have a cupcake like a man. And when I tell people I was Jehovah's Witness, I can gauge how literate you are by how you respond. Because if you go, "Oh, you couldn't do your birthday and Christmas," I know you're at cow level. I mean, people I love, it's kind of mean, but you know what I'm saying? That's the thing I'm grateful for, because I don't have no social. What? Oh, I don't have any kind of emotional connection to kill myself at Christmas because it's not a good Christmas. Okay, and it's like I'm looking at people like that get depressed. I'm like, wow, you got programmed. I'm grateful I don't have that programming, because that little outsider thing means the biggest fear, which is social death. Like I would do these USO things, and people that saw live combat would be like, I could never deal with you. Because people would rather die.
People and talk.
Because social death, there's your programming, dude.
Yeah.
The fear of social death is bigger than death. And then you realize, now I get Muslims and all the other, like, that's the trick out of the gate, is to make you fear social death. I mean, the government could put CP on your if they don't like you enough, and you think people are going to listen that it wasn't yours, and that's a reason to take your own life. I mean, dude. Can you imagine being in that situation? Like, I just have to take my life because I can't live with anybody thinking that about me. So that's a real fear. I don't look down on it. Like, this is a real thing. And they use it. I don't know what Trump's deal is, but guess what?
They understood it well before social media. Social media has almost certainly amplified that in a number of other issues.
No, that's what DARPA said they were doing.
Well, and In-Q-Tel, like if you look into a lot of the resources that we use in the internet that are now used for our mental control, In-Q-Tel was like first round funding for a lot of them. And for those that don't know, In-Q-Tel is effectively the CIA's angel investment firm that's connected but not connected. There's also an incredible fucking documentary.
They made Pokemon Go.
They also they made Age of Empires 2. They got me as a kid through Age of Empires 2.
Okay,
but there's
Call of Duty, for example, all the cool guns. That's because
did they really make Pokemon Go?
They actually did. No, you can look this up. They were early in on Pokemon Go.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I
The
totally
list,
believe you. I just
the
never
list- the
heard
list-
that.
we're gonna
shit
put a
is
gym by an
wild.
embassy, and everyone's gonna go there with their phones.
no,
like,
seriously,
yeah,
the list of shit that InQtel had its hands in is ridiculous. That is a wonderful rabbit hole. But there's
there's no capitalism or free, dude. It's all one thing, which is the 4-class system. Everywhere you go, and they just make you think you have that, like wrestling. Like I said, 20 years ago, Jason Berman is a friend of mine that I love talking to that guy. 20 years, he made Loose Change 20 years ago. Do you think I never watched it? I was like, shut up. Okay, like that guy was right, and that guy don't even go as crazy as I go now. It's amazing to look back on that. So I just tell people whatever I think is the truth, and then I'm not going to walk anybody through the 5 stages of grief of hearing it. I don't give a shit because I think it's funny. I remember people telling me the truth that I know now is the truth and how I was, and I'll never forget that they said it to me. So I'll got to argue shit with nobody. Time will do that. You know, I'm only like. It's like I wouldn't know unless it happened to me. Like I wouldn't understand it unless it happened to me. I mean, that's really the promise of America, isn't it? Not giving a shit till it happens to you.
It's kind of like how I feel like right now with what I know and my experience, the information that I've been putting out for years now. Like
Eric, dude,
it was maddening for a while in the beginning because I'm like, why? I can't believe you people don't see the exact same thing that
No,
I
dude.
see. And I got
Yeah.
frustrated for a while, but I like what you just said. Like, I don't argue with anybody anymore.
Yo, you don't have
because
to.
Time is going to prove me right. And there's more and more things lining up for that. So now I'm just
Yeah, that's the God part, dude. The
patiently
truth.
waiting for there to be the right amount of troops at the front line.
Yo, why would I want to prevent the apocalypse? That's the part where it gets fixed. Who wants to prevent that?
yeah, number
what I never
one,
considered.
And number two,
Yeah.
you're not gonna fucking blame me for that. People have been trying to blame the citizens, like we're the ones that are gonna push.
Yeah,
the world
so
to
do the
apocalypse.
aliens. Do you
I don't have any
notice?
fucking nukes. I'm not doing shit. I'm just
The alien. What's the alien story? Oh, you guys were bad. What are you guys, Catholic or something? What is this? What is this? Oh, yeah, they are. For some reason, what? But here's a question I just want to throw out there. Why does the Vatican have secret UFO knowledge? I'm just, we laugh at Scientology, but
it's my understanding that the Vatican is the largest purchaser of meteorites that fall on the planet. What's the point of that activity
there?
well, just Catholic means universal or something, so they're just trying to. I don't know.
Well, they
dude.
are the oldest intelligence agency too, right? That's kind of still
There you go,
active,
yeah.
right?
That's exactly right, dude. I bring that up a lot because Scientology, you get audited and they record your deepest confessions. Oh wow, what a bad cult. You mean like confession? Just think of that for thousands of years, older than the CIA, and the most powerful people in the world for quite some time are just telling you
And
their
richest,
darkest, deepest
and
secrets.
richest.
Yeah, that's an intel agency, is what that
Yep.
is. So
I was raised 13 years of Catholic school, and I swear to you, I felt like I also grew up in New York, so Catholic school proximity, mafia proximity. I always felt that the connection between the mafia and the Catholic Church was so that the mafia could get info from the Catholic Church through the confessional booths.
of course, to fight
Yeah, I
commies.
mean, that to me, I felt like that as a little kid was
Well,
obvious.
I think too, like this is something we were talking about a little bit earlier, but is still relevant here. Like the person like Michael Aquino, he belongs to Church of Satan, Temple of Set, and people are like, oh man,
Temple of Set.
he's an outlier. Order of Nine Angles, those are things that people in the government are not involved in. And what I think
Order of Nine Angles
think-
is such an obvious fake thing. However, Michael Aquino, get the Mind War document PDF.
That was real. He 100% was all about the things that he was saying, for sure. And the point that I'm trying to make here is that if we now take into what we're talking about the Catholic Church, there's this idea that mysticism and the occult have always been a part of intelligence gathering, even going well before our country. And when you really start to look into, even just with the founders of this country, and I'm not talking about the first wave Mason, presidents. I'm talking about the motherfucking
Rosicrucians first.
pilgrims that came over here that were into Hermetic Order, the Golden Dawn, Rosicrucianism, like the things that become the modern day Hermetic Order, even OTO, like the ideas that were the sperm of those organizations. That shit has been around and is baked in, and in a way that most people are just not aware of. And people like Aquino, he's a very public figure by choice, but there are tons of people like that in not only our government, but in every religious institution, every government around the world.
Dude,
The thing
I
that
just found
the
this
thing that
yesterday. Hold on,
it-
let's read this to you. That was crazy. We just wait. Hold on. Okay, so basically, you know, Hubbard and fucking what's his name, Parsons.
Parsons,
All,
yeah.
so the highest level of OTO. Let me just read it. So think of it like dude. The final class project is make up your own religion. That's the final project. So as soon as I found that out, I'm like, oh, Jehovah's Witnesses. Albany, New York is like you know, the Silicon Valley of goofball religions, but they're all psyops, all of them. Because if you're in the OTO or these groups, that's your final assignment, and the ones that take off are like the big deal. Hold on.
We're living in Hal Pudov's right now in the disclosure movement.
Well,
You beat me to that one, Panda. I was going to say it was Elizondo's.
God damn it, where is it? So that's the whole thing, dude. It's, you know, J.J. Abrams' mystery box storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Scientology
That's
and
right.
J.J. Abrams have the same philosophy of like, oh, I didn't think of the ending. And I gotta just give you a little, dribble out a little bit of it.
Yeah, like the journey is more important than the destination once you run out of ideas.
Yeah, right. It's like
the
when I
journey
jerk,
back.
dude. It's like when I jerk off in a Waymo. You know, the journey is the destination. Wait, hold on. Hold on. I want to read the thing because it was really fucking crazy. And that's why I look up this Gary Wayne thing, because he talks about Tolkien. So this is the thing I noticed too. Like all these things are metaphorical overlays of metaphorical overlay. I got that from Daniel List from Dog Journalist, that term. But the Book of Mormon is Atlantis story. Most of these things are the story of Atlantis. They're just retelling it. Fucking, you know, stupid Tartaria, aka Retardia. You know that dumb with the mud flood thing? You just tell
The
me.
Tartarian Empire, yeah, of course.
Well, there was a Tartaria, that's a fact, and there's still a town called that in Romania and whatever. But this bizarre thing where you're like, oh, they had limitless energy, like 100. That's an op. I don't know what else, dude. Flat Earth. That is, I think. Now, this is just my speculation, and if anybody knows, please tell me. But I remember Flat Earth from when I bought Donna Cosey's Kooks 20 years ago. She's a chicken before the internet had all this great stuff. She has the Kooks Museum of crazy people from San Francisco. So you know that's an intel hotspot. And that's why I first heard. That's why I first heard of flat earthers. Like, you know, you heard of that, but you're like, nobody does that no more. And there's a town called Zion, Michigan. It was a flat earth cult founded a town. And they passed crazy laws like women can't ride horses. And, you know, I don't know. I'm not even grow up on a farm, but it's some kind of vagina. It's like that's the vibrator of pioneer times is the. And you couldn't drink or smoke or whatever, and no globularists. That's what they called people, globularists.
Dude.
Yeah, now they say globetard, but back then it was a globularist. And the only reason it ended was not because of any constitutional violations, but the guy didn't pay his taxes. So
they always get you. They always get you with the fucking taxes, man.
Yeah, so I read this at the time and assumed it was some kind of Baptist fucking born again thing. Nah, that was a Catholic cult. And when my friends who I talk to that are into it, my dude Eddie Bravo, I love that dude. I wish I had a morning show with him. He comes to me with there's no such thing as nuclear weapons one day, and I'm like, I'm not prepared to argue that. I hope you're right, dude. That's a great. I mean, you got 80 years of history to untangle, but I'm here. Tell me, it's Catholic. It's fucking cat. I think it's a Jesuit psyop. I don't know why they cranked it up again, but I think it's like if you create a bulwark of people that believe something irrationally, that's like a big deal, high magic thing to do, and it creates in their mind a balance with secular materialism. That's what I'm just speculating purely. I could be totally off, but my guess is it's that, because I know that's a thing people do. If you see a little Nick Fuentes fuck, he might be from the ADL, I don't know, but that he's like a human fart. His job is to stand next to people and stink them up. So if you have a good point, he'll say a good point sometime, but he'll also say some absolutely stupid nonsense. And he's obviously a gay. He's obviously gay. Tradcath. I guess that is Tradcath, actually. Good credit to him. But there's all these people around that are like that, and you can spot them by what they do. and what is the fruits of their whatever the scripture is. That's an accurate thing. What do we get out
Actions
of it?
speak louder than words.
Yeah, I saw a video of this guy at January 6th telling people they gotta go into the Capitol, and he didn't go to jail. So what do you think that is? Not somebody that is there on purpose? And by the way, watch the video. There's a cop. There's a guy who's an obvious cop, like the guy who's built like a cop, who's pretending to not be a cop, and he goes, "Thank you for saying that." After he gets done saying this nonsense, he didn't go to jail. And I know his bullshit because I watch Kino Casino, which is like them just covering nonsense. But if you watch nonsense, you can pick up a lot of great details. You'd be surprised what connects on a real low level with real high level. It's actually shocking every time.
Well, Kurt, what's your take on L. Ron Hubbard?
Okay, so every religion, the first guy is the wacky guy that comes up with it. Now L. Ron Hubbard, that's his final OTO assignment. His thesis for college is to invent a religion. And so I don't think, but they infiltrated the IRS. We mentioned taxes before. Do you
think he was really like he was kicked out of the Navy? Because I think he was a spy and still heavily involved in intel.
I think it's just like Anton LaVey. And the guy that's in charge now is the Aquino or the Apostle Paul. Every religion, there's the first guy, and then the Roy Kroc McDonald's that makes it a franchise, right?
Well, Aquino's dead, so it's somebody else. It's not Aquino, but right. The head just shifts.
Yeah,
Kurt, what you said real quick there about the infiltrating the IRS, I don't know if you've heard this, but I've heard from apparently Ron Pandolfi, so CIA guy, believe it or not, that apparently Hal Puthoff was super involved with Operation Snow White, the largest infiltration
He's a
of
Scientologist,
the
dude.
U.S. government. Yeah, and if you look at it, the timeline lines up because you hear about Pat Price and Ingo Swann and all those removers. They're all Scientologists too, and they were feeding info back to Scientology.
The Superpower Center. Okay, everyone, focus on how stupid Scientology is. What a bunch of idiots. That's all your things. That's how the government works. Is Scientology the pyramid scheme? You get initiated, and then you're in too deep to back out. You ever hear that? Is that familiar? That's all the things. So if you're a Freemason of the 33rd degree, the 32nd degree don't know shit. And even 33rd degree, maybe that you're in some bullshit. It's in Tragedy and Hope. Cecil Rhodes, the father, the guy who invented apartheid, the pederast from England that invented apartheid, part of his idea, and it says in the book, he based it on the Bavarian Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Jesuits. I didn't know anything about the Jesuits, but apparently they're one of the like a great intel agency for a long time. And so his idea was circles within circles, like that Atlantis map they always show you. And so that means it's like P. Diddy. Let's just put it in P. Diddy terms. There's the P. Diddy White Party, and people went to that and didn't do nothing too bad. And then there's the late night P. Diddy Brown Party, and then where the real stuff happened. That's how everything works. And P. Diddy's like that because he's in a frat. That's what the Boule is. The Black Illuminati. It's a frat. I can't remember what it's called. There's like Phi Beta whatever. But it's a college frat. Quick question. Why do we have that? What is the purpose of that again? Oh, it's like Freemason shit. Like, you'll hook me up. Oh, like the mafia does. Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah. Again, like this shit supersedes our own government. It goes back
the president
back to antiquity. It goes way back
forgot.
to antiquity.
Yes. So this book, Tragedy and Hope, which you got to get. You get Tragedy and Hope 101 at least, but Grove sent me like an original copy, which is very nice of him. Okay. I'm trying to think how to put this. The whole point of it is the names really don't matter. What matters is you're scouting for like talent. Okay. So how Mark Passio talks about what stupid Church of Satan, what LaVey was to find psychopaths. Okay. And then you move up to something better. And there's a hierarchy of it, but it's all a fraternity, and they all have been doing this. And like this stuff isn't like Pulp Fiction. It's just normal stuff that you think is normal is not normal. The fraternity, what is that? And what happens in fraternity? Remember, it's a humiliation ritual, like everybody blathers about online. Oh, who's that? John Cena doing a humiliation ritual because he had to be naked on stage. The guy looks great. That's not a humiliation ritual. Stupid. If I did it, that's a humiliation ritual. Not for him. He can't wait to show off his workout. What are you talking about, idiot? The humiliation ritual is all the things You work at Starbucks or something? And that's the humiliation ritual, idiot. This. Oh, hey, I heard they drink a baby in the woods on Halloween. Yeah, probably. But remember Iraq and Afghanistan and the 20-year mass blood sacrifice that we did? Does anybody remember that? It's on C-SPAN. All this shit's on C-SPAN, and all I got to do is focus you onto some comic book shit because you read comic books, and it'll distract from the obvious thing in front of your face. Sleight of hand. It's just a classic magician trick. And then the hypnosis comes in to make it stay like that. Okay, so imagine if I hypnotized you. Imagine like a long time ago. I don't know, a group of like whoever survived the Ice Age or whatever that group they say everybody came out of like 60 people or something. And I hypnotize you, and I go, it's always the year like I don't know, 8 years behind me. I live in 2030. You live in 2025 forever. And I hypnotize you. You know how people do that, and it's degrees of. Some people are natural born improv people, and they just need the permission. Some people are like, I don't know why we're doing this, but I'm just going to go along. And then some people go, I'm not doing this. And that's the minority of people, and they leave the show. But imagine I put you in that hypnotic state that you live 10 to 20 years behind me, and I just leave you like that forever.
Well,
I've traveled to the future now.
That's hypnosis 101. You can't hypnotize someone that doesn't want to be hypnotized.
Yeah, that's a lie. That's a lie they tell. You absolutely
that's where I would disagree. I would think that most people want to be hypnotized. They would rather shut out the reality of how shitty their life is or how shitty the world is.
That's absolutely fair.
Look at how we go to movies. Every one of us loves to go into a movie. That's hypnosis. It's hypnosis. We suspend our disbelief. We know the movie's fake, but we get drawn in and we connect with these characters.
No, I'm just complaining because the spells aren't good anymore. Honestly, if I think about
there's no argument there. They're pretty lazy these days.
Like that's why I
almost feel like we're there right now. That there's a whole bunch of people that have hypnotized us to not notice that they are absolutely living in a future that we're currently not.
Yeah, Tomorrowland, where Clooney lives. Clooney lives in Tomorrowland.
I mean, there's a lot of conversation to justify the idea of a the term breakaway civilization. That there's a lot of.
It's right here. It ain't even on Mars, dude. Right. It's here. Hey,
right. Yeah, it's around us right now. For those that are with eyes to see and ears to hear.
Hey, has anybody you ever hear like there's intelligent entities all around us that we can't see? Yeah, they're called the homeless. Some people have encounters with them. They say there's a smell. Like it's right there, dude. That's what that shit means. And so all this stuff.
They're not talking to no one. They're channeling with a higher power.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. Honestly. But look, the Dalai Lama. You ever see Kundun, or how they pick the kid out, just how they do for pre-K kindergarten. But when they trace your genes, they 23andMe the genes. The priests do. I got this from Rudolf Steiner, who, by the way, is boring as hell. But what's good about him is he'll tell you like backstage gossip about these creeps. And that's the interesting stuff. And he was talking about how the Tibetan monks, how they're just these corrupt priests. And so they get a kid and repattern his brain. They go, so Tibet, the thing that celebrities and the CIA loves, and the Nazis also love, they've had the same ruler for like 1,000 years because they take a kid and go, oh, you're this guy, right? He picks the toy he wants. So again, when he's 4, when he doesn't know reality, and they repattern his brain to be that guy. Like they download the guy and then Steiner points out they don't even wait for the first guy to die. That's how you know it's fake. But I'm sure they say by location or something, right? And it's really easy to do the fidelity because if you notice, the Dalai Lama doesn't have a fucking personality. It's some goofball. Have you ever heard him say something? You're like, wow, I couldn't have thought of that. No, because it's easy. And then these priests rule the country through this puppet, like ancient Egypt.
Kurt, what would be your thoughts on what you see going on? We just touched on this breakaway civilization concept, right? Mm-hmm. You follow technologies, you're very interested, you're open to ideas. Like how, I guess just your opinion, like how much disparity do you think there could be from like what the average person on this planet is up to?
It's 180 degrees from what okay, look. You know how Richard Grove says to me, he's right. Bernie Madoff could not stop the scam. He never could stop it. He had to follow it to the end because he had done it was too far. Okay, so you know as that stuff burns down like a goddamn the restaurant in Goodfellas after they extracted the wealth, they burn it down, right? So that's what.
Not enough customers. Fuck you. Pay me.
Yeah.
These guy didn't deliver on time.
So
Fuck
Trump,
you, pay me.
all Trump is doing. Gary Wayne did this on this thing I watch. Oh goddamn, sorry. Is he's jockeying for a better position for America within the New World Order. But you are getting he's the fake. When you hear white hat, that's some Freemason bullshit. White and black hat, that's retard duality shit that they want to teach you so they can do their stupid dialectic. They're all, and the people that are in on it, most of them have no idea they're in on it. Most of them have no idea. That's the reason you do it this way. You're in a mystery school because you live here and you haven't been initiated into it, right? And so you don't get to know stuff. And for some reason, people know their place. They're like, well, that's not my lane to just look up the simple fact that they admit masks have never worked for COVID. Let's move on. People just gonna do that. So it's that easy. And so just take all this fantastical shit you hear and scale it down one level is what I would say. So when you hear about like in I don't know if it's Buddhism or Hindu or whatever, where there's like, you know, the samsara wheels and one wheel is all the gods. And they're actually, they think just like you think you're real, they're deluded and think they're real. Okay. But it ends up being the same shit, but just scale that down a notch. And the gods are just people. They're just fucking people. And they think they're gods. And then all of a sudden it makes a lot more sense than it did when they scaled it up. You know, then you see what it is. Then you're like, oh, that's why they act like this. I'm watching this right now at the Diddy trial, how they act. It's like Greek mythology what that guy did at his party, ain't it?
Well, you know, it goes back to some people want money, some people want power, but most people just want control.
Well, dude, Nathan told me, he'll say, but most of the stuff he said was on the Merkel show if you watch it, but at the highest level, they don't care. You know what the currency is? It's secrets. In the underworld, the currency's secrets. What if you're a trillionaire? What do you give a shit about money? Also, what if you print the money? You know, when they started this scam of, I guess it's sigil magic, and then when we go to crypto, it'll be conjuration. So first it's gold, so that's alchemy, and then we move to sigil magic, which is paper money, and then we're going to move to conjuration, right? With crypto. But
I feel like it's all about control, and
that's
control
it.
comes through information.
Information.
This is why we have AI. This is why we have metadata. This is why we have everybody offering every detail of their life.
I got news for you.
Someone else. Nobody has any idea of the value of privacy anymore. They have no privacy because they don't understand the value.
Yo, dude, who people talk down on OnlyFans chicks. Do you think you jerk off camera, idiot? I haven't jerked off camera in 20 years. That's just a fact. None of us have. Well, you jerk off camera. You had access to Epstein's cell, the most private skiff on earth.
Yeah, you know, there's a great documentary. I've mentioned it a bunch of times on the podcast, but it's called "We Live in Public."
Mm-hmm.
If nobody has watched that documentary, I highly recommend watching it. It's a pretty solid analysis of the idea that, you know, this technology comes around to connect us, and it's sold to us in a way that's appealing, and we all jump into it. But at some point, it's going to turn on us. And this documentary came out in like 2008, and
it's the Tower of Babel story.
We crossed that fucking lexicon a long time ago, but it's a great documentary.
So when I saw social media that was going to connect us, and then you saw what it did, it's the Tower of Babel story. That's what I'm saying. These are repeating fucking themes.
Well, and nothing is fucking free. Like, why do you think they're going to give us all of this shit for free?
Because here's what they all say.
We're the commodity there. That's why.
Okay, both the theosophy type people and the Christians and all them, apparently we used to be all psychic and connected. And that's how you could build a pyramid with people, is because they were easier to put in a group to make a thing happen, like how Amish build a barn real fast on coke. That's what they were doing supposedly. And so we lost that ability, and they're trying to get it back because they got to take it away.
Amish cocaine must be the cleanest fucking cocaine.
I'll bet you it's not. Dude, Russ Dizdar also, that's another great. I love like really crazy street Baptists. I love them, dude, because they're like doing Buffy the Vampire shit all day. But this dude, and he's got a good book. Because, by the way, the next thing I'm trying to find is the Twilight language, exactly what that is. Because he brought that up, and then somebody else just brought it up to me, and that's a real thing. Michael Hoffman or somebody wrote a book, The Twilight. So that's next time I'm going to figure out what the hell that is. But this is to help the Amish trafficking victims, because there's a whole underworld. You know, any kind of insular society with like weird power dynamics is going to devolve into a sex cult of incest. And that's, guess what the Amish have done, many of them. And in fact, they have their own occult magic. It's called a Hexenmeister. That's what an Amish occultist is. So in their barns, if you ever see any weird sigils, that means a Hexenmeister is in the family. I thought they were all holy, right? Nah, they're like everybody else.
That's an awesome band name, bro. Like a heavy metal band name.
That seriously is.
It is my band name. Don't take it.
But that's what I was just saying before about like every religion has this. Like every religion has some kind of mystic school where the things that they're doing are completely against whatever the mass public in their religion.
Okay, that's a great point, dude. So that's why I don't believe Caesar's Messiah, because there's people that are mythicists. They're like, no, there's no Christ. It's a remake of like another guy. No, I don't think it is, because that stuff spread way too fast. So I think it was like a early populist movement. And you know what they hate the most, right? Populism. So what do you do with populism? You rush to appropriate it. That's how you defeat populism. And you make them fight about what color they are, if they have a pee-pee or a poo-poo, right? That's how you do it. You learn that in fancy school. So all that Mithraism, which was a thing, that's what the military was in Rome. So that's Freemasons. That's the fucking Freemasons, what that is, Mithraism. So they do what we do right here in America. He combined the bullshit, esoteric, all these gross people from generational serial killer families, what they do, and combined it. And then now they're going to tell you, no, we made it up. But here's something I do know. These people can't create. That's what the big jealousy is, because you got that spark of God creativity and they don't have it. They could manage you, right? And they could drain off of you, but they can't make stuff. That's why they're so corny. You understand? They can only take something and twist it. And I don't know who they is. Like, I'm not saying it's a whatever from whatever religion or an alien. I'm just going off the themes. There's a group that can't make stuff, and what they can do is feed off you. And you are basically like a foie gras goose in a disreputable foie gras factory. And they're force feeding you, and every so often one of us poops out a golden egg, and that's what your job is, right?
I think there's a micro and a macro to that, because I believe we can look in society as a whole, right? And we can see that there are people amongst us that, create, produce, service, do things, right?
The third class of the four classes.
Someone fries a potato, somebody delivers it as French fries, right? These are people that are doing things, okay? But we have these leeching systems, the people that don't do anything, like the commodities market, like how many billionaires are there in the potato commodity?
They're the same as a crackhead
they don't grow a potato, they don't deliver the potato, but they're like, hey, I made a phone call to make sure that the potato guy woke up early to harvest the potatoes, so I'm in the commodities market and we trade, so I need $1 billion and here's a penny for your potato.
It's called being a dude. The top and the bottom all know the same thing. Here's the ultimate esoteric secret, that the very top of society and the people in prison lower society, they both know this. Okay, ready for the ultimate secret? You have to go through a lot of classes with it. A hole is a hole. That's their big secret. The richest and poorest people all think that. I don't know why as the carpet show the drapes, but that's what it is.
Yeah, I think there's just a million examples of things being repackaged, and especially when it gets to like the religious conversations, the ancient religions, especially. How do you get people to follow your new religion? Well, you tell them a story that they're familiar with.
Well, you're mad, right? I figure out how to placate you, and I will.
Exactly. You got to give them a story that they're not going to want to burn your temple down for. So you tell them a story that is so similar to their story that they're like, yeah, you know what? I can get behind that. It's kind of like the way modern day movie executives just repackage the same shit to us.
It's exactly that. It's literally that
same shit every.
That's why Hollywood, the wood you make a wand out of, and all that in Disney magic.
Taco Bell menu.
Yo, Disney. That's Disney. Disney wasn't a Freemason.
There you go.
What'd you say?
He said the Taco Bell menu.
Oh yeah, that's the dark sigil of Kai. I believe that is a taco. Oh, I gotta go, dude. But I got my new podcast starting up called The Derp with Kerp, and
Derp with Kerp, nice.
Oh
yeah, I'm starting up pretty soon, but I gotta have you guys on.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd
yeah,
love to be there.
All right, yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Kurt,
Take
you got
it
it.
easy,
Have a
Kurt.
great day.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for your
much.
time.
Peace out. Fun times.
Bye.
Hell yeah. Woo.
Woohoo!
That was fun.
That was a rager. Love that.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm not dumping yet, but boy, that was a whirlwind. Kurt is a fireball of ideas and thoughts, and he's happy to share them. And that's one of the main reasons I love engaging with Kurt is that he speaks his mind and rapidly, and he runs all over the place. But to me, that's fun. So anybody that wants to communicate about what we were just discussing, we can definitely have a few minutes to wrap things up before we close it out. So
And he's actually funny too, right? Like
oh fuck,
before
so
Kurt was in
funny.
here, all we had was glue reviews. You know what I mean? Like that was the only comedian UFO guy.
Yeah, there has not been that much actual humor in the disclosure circles, but Kurt can keep it light and entertaining.
When he said the Greys are like, they end it with the Greta Thunberg thing, I thought that was pretty funny. Like, like the Greta Thunberg.
I think that would be even scarier. Like if a UFO beamed me up and I went inside and there was like gray aliens, I'd be less terrified than if I got beamed up and I'm on the table and Greta Thunberg's yelling at me.
How dare you? That was more like Bane, but you get it.
Yeah, like if my eyes popped open and she's like, "You stole my childhood." I see we got
let's
Mr. Nathan over there with a hand up. If you want
open this
to
up
jump
to
in with
folks.
your question.
Oh, hey, I wanted to say thanks, and I was surprised that Kurt knew so much about plasma. I thought that was very cool, and it sounded like he was talking about maybe the work of Robert Temple with the sentient plasma, the psychic sphere thing, and the Kordaluski clouds, etc. So I was going to ask him some of that far out stuff, but just happy to listen. Like that would have only been icing on the dream come true or whatever, but very cool. Thanks for doing it. Thanks for arranging it, and I'll, talk to y'all later, I
Awesome.
suppose.
Thanks for joining us, Nathan. And, I'm sure there's a high probability that Kurt will be back in this capacity, and or I'll join him on his new podcast that he's been starting up in Austin. So I think Kurt very much wants to be more in these conversations. But as most folks in this group know, the X Spaces has been a minefield of bullshit as of late, and it's like it's like volunteering to try to go sprinting through quicksand. It's like we all need we need to be on the other side of the minefield in the quicksand, but boy, it's like maybe let's just pause and build a bridge before just running in and getting stuck in the current situation.
And while we got him here, we just want to I definitely want to give a shout out to Tupac and Red Panda. You guys have been like really kind of leading the front on trying to shift the narrative into a more palatable situation, and definitely with all the shit that you guys have had to deal with all the people harassing you over the past couple weeks and months. We just appreciate your work.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, they're crazy, dude. Yeah, I like how Kurt was he was hip to a lot of that stuff too. You could tell. And what I was going to ask him, I'm curious what Eric Heger thinks too, because he has stuff with this like this SRA UFO overlap, right? And this kind of like revelation over time, right? Like it started in 2017 with like fighter pilots and like dots on radar. And now it's like Lou Elizondo's remote viewing, torturing Gitmo prisoners with Halpudov. And then with Jake Barber, kind of like the way that like almost like torturing children has been introduced into the conversation, right? Like he's casually talking about what's the term, Tupa? The fight or flight. You got to trigger the fight or flight in kids to get the, it's just like, I was curious where he thinks it's going to go next. Where do you think it's going to go next, right? Or even this latest Matt Brown post, right? We got Enochian magic, right? It's all up in the mix What do you guys think is going to be
Well,
next on?
Eric and I, like when Eric was out here, we talked about this for a long time, and nobody was fucking saying this, but that was kind of a thread we had discussed, is that SRA as a whole at some point was probably used as some kind of manipulation en masse to get people looking over here as opposed to looking over there. And definitely in terms, like there's enough research that's been done now about trauma and dissociative identity disorders. This shit isn't hyperbole. It works.
And the Jake Barber stuff, I think Tupa did a post or something where it's like literally the same language, the same verbiage.
100%. Well, I mean, that's why I recommended those books. Like, if anyone wants to give themselves a really shocking look into how simple this shit is, there's a couple books. I've posted them on a couple comments. Look into hypnosis, look into neurolinguistic programming, and you'll quickly start to see how simple. We're all Pavlov's dog. We will all behave a certain way. It doesn't take crazy. The technology might make it easier, but with simple language, the repetition of the presentation and repetition of ideas, we can all be fucking hypnotized into behaving certain ways. That is old. It goes well beyond our government. It goes well beyond religion. This shit is old.
Sumer, Babylon.
Yeah, no, really. Like, and if you look at a lot of like the esotericism or mysticism that has made its way into the things that we know now, it's the same shit. Like they understood the idea of perception and human perception and being able to manipulate someone's perception by saying to them certain things in certain repetitions. The trauma based portion of it is like the darkest application of it, and that would be more akin to what MK Ultra and similar programs were trying to do. But the shit is old. It's not back in the day, people would call stuff magic, and all magic was science before we understood it. And one of the sciences that they understood well back in that day was therapy, psychotherapy. And we just call it psychotherapy now, but people were using those same tricks to manipulate people well beyond they came up with the word psychotherapy.
Yeah, and Panda, in regards to my experience with this stuff, as James had mentioned, we have gone in depth on this. When I first came out, I was very much just trying to keep to the facts of my experience at the South Pole Station, and I found it curious and annoying that people wanted to keep asking about my past and my childhood and the connections to the GATE program, because at the time I didn't know of any connections. It didn't matter to me. So I felt like it was like people personally probing, trying to change the topic. I didn't like it. I still don't like that I have this history of the association to the project. I really don't like that there's more and more connections to the problems that I went through as a child and my experience as an adult. But with that being said, I don't have to like the reality that occurred, but I have to deal with it. And as I'm learning that these programs are unfortunately more and more interconnected, it just makes me focus on what can I do to change the way things are so that more children don't go through this nefarious process for whatever it is yet to be defined, because it certainly doesn't seem to be good. In regards to the Jake Barber testimony and the MK Ultra programs of the past and what's going on contemporarily, I loathe that they're running around now and using the term stress inoculation, right? They've sterilized the activity, right? They also refer to the people that they're stress inoculating as recruits / captives. So it makes it really plucks at my heartstrings, because I'm like, wow, that's reminiscent of how I felt as a kid. We were recruits / captives. But the MK Ultra program didn't use the term stress inoculation. It was called trauma inducing activities. So they're just trying to sterilize stuff. The same thing's going on. The same programs are going on. There's still scumbags that are in the mix. There's still massive deception going on. There's counterintelligence everywhere But again, going back to what James said, I am super happy that Red Panda and Tupacabra are fighting their way through the quicksand and the minefield. I look forward to talking to you guys when that aspect of your life is in your rear view mirror and you are no longer weighed down and moving at high speed.
Feel soon, by the way. I know it might seem like what's happening right now is crazy, and it is crazy, right? Because we got the Dodi Elizondo collab, but it's such a better landscape, Tupa, is it not, than it was like 3-4 years ago? It's like, yeah, it's awesome. And I do totally agree. Jake Barber is like whitewashing so much dark shit, in my opinion. Like, yeah, but yeah, Tupa, what's up, bro?
Oh yeah, I agree. Like the environment's crazy, different than it used to be. There was basically a free for all for the IC. They could come in here and do whatever they wanted. Everything was going as planned. That's what like really kind of resonated with me with what Kurt was saying, is that these people with these intentions, they can't really make anything, so they're not good on their feet and they're not that funny. And so like they were utilizing social media, but they had to like control it so much so that there was no risk of someone funnier or someone more able to navigate this would come up and be able to pull it off. And they did their best to beat these people down. Red and myself
That's
included.
a great point. They can't create. So I think of it like they can't build. They can't stack the stones to build the wall. The only thing they can do is throw stones at wall builders.
Yeah, and then critique. You know what I mean?
They're not funny. They could never make Hood Greer.
Damn right.
What was that thing that I heard back there? They said like Democrats can't make memes or something, or liberals can't meme.
Yeah.
Oh, the left can't meme. Yeah, that's exactly what it is with these people. Yeah, it's that same kind of vibe, I think.
Well, but again, just you guys are really doing. You're accepting the brunt of the force, and I appreciate it. I'm sure a ton of other people appreciate it, and just keep doing what you're doing. Eric and I talk about this all the time. Like we were talking about a lot of these topics before the tide changed, and I've just always felt this way about stuff. I'm sure you guys share this sentiment. I don't necessarily care about being first. I only really care about being correct. Right? So these are unpopular opinions to have historically. They're slowly getting more popular. The bullying and shit at some point is going to stop because enough people are going to come to their senses and be like, oh, I'm just being lied to. The people I'm trusting, they're liars. They come from backgrounds where they were trained in how to lie and manipulate people. So damn it, they got me, but that's okay. We can learn and move forward.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I can see here we've been hitting this thing for about 2 hours, and I appreciate everybody's time, and I just probably should start wrapping it up unless anybody else has any further questions.
By the way, I recorded one of these, so I could send you the file. I recorded this because I saw you weren't recording, so just keep an eye out for the DM.
No worries at all. Actually,
In case you wanted
I just no, totally appreciate it, and I actually probably will take that from you because I was recording on my end, but I was having major technical difficulties with the sound, so it's cut a lot. So maybe yours is better. So thank you so much.
Oh.
Way to be a team player, sir.
I just want to say thank you very much, Eric and TLB. This was so awesome actually getting to talk to Kurt, man. He's been one of my idols the past 3 or 4 years. So this has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you everybody for tuning in and again, like support. You see these folks, they're here, they're on here active every day. Listen to what they're saying, support, and of course, think for yourself.
Absolutely. And I just have a small request. I'm going to keep going in this angle. I have a website, deciphering.tv. If people could jump on there, find something that's of interest to them, please share that link somewhere with like-minded folks. And then please also share that link with people that think in a contrary way to you. Let's try breaking out of the standard echo chambers that we're building and just, try to disseminate what we believe is the most truth that we can find. I will do my part. Many hands makes light work, so I appreciate everybody's efforts. I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and we'll catch you next time. Be well, everybody.
Peace out.